All right, what is up, YouTube? And hey to Kenny Cooper for being first. So I kind of wanted just a little Thursday night lawn chat just because. And let me mute my headset because I'm going to start hearing some crazy backfeeding here. There we go. All right. So RVA Lawn Love, what's going on, brother? So I want to do just a little bit of a chat, kind of hang out. I haven't been online in a little bit. I was actually planning on having another video coming out right about now, but I was wanting to do a little bit of an experiment. I've kind of hinted around at this a little bit. So I have a little kind of a seed tray that you'd use for like a garden, right? But I have a couple different seed types of grass that I want to try to play around with. I went down to a local nursery. They have bulk seed, perennial rye, Kentucky blue, tall fescue, different stuff like that, all in basically just huge bins where I could pick all that up and just pay per pound basically. But I went down with just a couple little sandwich bags, and all I needed maybe a handful of seed, 30 seeds at most. So didn't even weigh anything. So they're just like, take it. So shout out to Burger Farm, the nursery down there in Newtown, Ohio, for hooking me up with some free seed. Not sponsored, of course. They just happened to give me some seed because there was nothing there. But so my plan was I'm going to take a little bit of each of these seeds, put it across the seed tray, and I want to play around some of the different fertilizer types. I think I still have some like Scotch starter fertilizer. I have some RGS out in the garage. I might have some Carbon X around still, maybe. And then I also want to do kind of control and just kind of play around with the different seed types and the fertilizers, kind of mark them out, maybe put an Excel spreadsheet so I can see what everything is and kind of see how they all react. I was kind of waiting because somebody said they were going to send me some Bermuda seed. So I was going to see how that would work. Maybe, kind of do something for the warm season as well. But Gibby got me up on a big screen. Man, am I really that ugly? Jeez. So I wanted to get some Bermuda seed, maybe grow that out, kind of play around with that too, but that's kind of fallen through. So I might go ahead and try to start on getting that video together. And I kind of want to play around with maybe a time lapse with the seed growing. I've got a GoPro Hero 7. I actually was wanting to do that with the last video with the herb garden, trying to grow some of that out, but some of the seeds are like a 7 to 10 day germination, and I started doing a time lapse at day 1. So that would have been a long time waiting for all the seeds to come up and actually see anything cool on the time lapse. So I stopped. Speaking of, so I did want to give an update on that, and only 2 of the 4 little pots of herbs have actually done anything. So this is the little parsley here. So that one's coming up pretty good. And reading the directions, they said this needs to be in kind of a partial sunlight before you put it in a grow tent, which is this monstrosity behind me here. That's about the best place I can go with it. So it's in my office now. But they said before this goes in direct sunlight, you need to get a true leaf on here. Not messing much with the gardens. I didn't know what a true leaf was because we've always bought, vegetables and herbs and stuff that are already grown. But just for those that don't know, I tried and get this without shaking here. See that little 3-leaf right there? That little guy right there, that's a true leaf. So basically these little leaves off the side, they pretty much look the same. So this is cilantro. It's all falling over on me. But that look a lot alike until you get the actual true leaf. So I learned something new. But these are going to go into the in the grow tent behind me. And we check out yes, Bush League. I have a Cisco shop. So a lot of the equipment behind me is not turned on. But I've got a Dell server that I'm running. I actually have Active Directory running in my house. So I completely nerded out. Palo Firewall. I've actually got some Ubiquity switch and access point, just because it was kind of something to play around with. But the other Cisco equipment behind me, that was actually for a CCNA lab, so I haven't really used it much. But had the rack. I got it for free, and I thought it'd be cool just throw some of my LED lights at it. Team Fortinet, yes, I actually have a Fortinet down here somewhere too. I think this box down here is a Fortinet that they gave me. We were trying to do a POC in our hospital, try to do something with network segmentation. The POC never really got off the ground, and but just kind of them trying to sweeten the deal, they gave me a Fortinet. I don't know what that thing is, maybe like a 60E or 80E, something like that. Licensing ran out, but hospital pays for my Palo firewall up there, so I use that. Plus, it helps, you know, with having that URL filtering. I can keep my kid off some of the certain sites. So, yeah, sorry, geeking out. So back to lawn care. So I'm going to take these herbs and get those in the grow tent behind me. And actually, the light has gone off for the night, but gotta love having smart plugs. Should turn on me. Now it's on. So bright. So bright. So I'll throw the herbs in here. And actually, there's my my grow light. I don't want to shine it right at you because you all go blind. But so that's what I use. It's kind of a cool little setup. Now I kind of want to give another update. Some of you may recall I had a piece of St. Augustine that I brought back from Florida at the beginning of January. And I dubbed his name Stolen Feral. Not to be confused with Sylvester Stallone or Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, whatever. So I tried to save him. He's kind of been in the ICU tent for a little while. What do y'all think? I think Stolen Feral bit the farm. I tried. I watered him. And I watered him. I gave him some fertilizer. And I don't think he made it. So I guess I'm going to have to bury him off, I guess. Yeah, dirt napping. He's sleeping. So I did what I could with him. Didn't have high hopes anyway, because it's not very hot in the house. I didn't have a heater to put in there. So maybe if I had a little bit of humidity and heat building up in that tent, plus the extra light, maybe it might have survived. I don't know, but it was worth a try and something fun to play with. I'm just glad when I was going through the airport, I had that piece of St. Augustine wrapped in a wet paper towel and in a bag and in my pocket. So luckily the dogs aren't trained to sniff that kind of grass. So no problems there. But so I guess I'll get rid of him, and I'll play around with the next experiment with the grass seed. And so since I had this huge tent, I went ahead and I've got my little banana plant behind me, and so I've been letting him kind of hang out in here. He's doing pretty well. So I haven't had any other new leaves. So I got one starting to pop up in the center. You all won't be able to see it. She looks like a little hair coming out through the center. This guy's doing pretty good. I had it out on my patio last summer, and I think some insects started getting to it. So I had to bring it back in. So it's been kind of hanging out. It's doing pretty good. It likes it in the grow tent there. So get these guys. I go ahead and put these where Stolen Feral is. There we go. All right, there we go. So I guess some of the other things I kind of want to talk about. I believe, who was it? Bush League? Was it you that did the call outs? A couple guys to see what they were going to be doing this year. Is that Banana, or are you just happy? Formerly known as Striper Man. Hello, sir. Glad to see you are still here. We saw the Instagram account kind of disappear and everything deleted out. So we're kind of worried about you, man. So glad you're sticking around. So Bush League Lawn. So you called a couple guys out. And I figured since I'm doing a live stream, I might as well go ahead and talk about what the plans were, because I think that was part of the call out, was talk about what you're going to be doing in the coming year. So I think I had a couple issues last year. My lawn really didn't come out very well. A lot of it is I changed my plans, not necessarily the fertilizer I use, because I use all Carbon Earth products and they're amazing. But my problem was I didn't use enough of it. I remember John Perry had talked about he used very little nitrogen throughout his yard for the year. Granted, you have different grass type from what I'm doing. So, yeah, I thought maybe I can get away with using less nitrogen, ergo not have to mow as much. Didn't go so well. So a lot of my yard checked out last year. Not to mention me spraying Fusillade when it was probably a little bit too hot for it, and I torched part of my yard. Lawn tools respectively declined. Oh, boo, boo. So, my intention this year is, instead of going a granular fertilizer, some of the pros have done this. Matt Martin actually talked about this previously when he was spraying lawns. He mainly just used ammonium sulfate. So I have a bunch of that in my garage. I'm going to try that. And now, not only am I going to use ammonium sulfate, I also want to have a mixture of some potassium with that. So I also bought 20 pounds of, I believe the brand name was Yara, potassium nitrate. So that way I'm going to get some potassium as well. And the intent is to try to get a 1-to-1 ratio of nitrogen and potassium. So that'll help with a little bit of fungus, because I'm getting that extra potassium in there. And I'm going to try to spray my yard every 2 weeks with the ammonium sulfate and potassium nitrate. And then with that, once a month, I have some ferrous sulfate that I will put in the mix. So once a month, I will spray some iron, basically, on the lawn. So I'll get a dose of iron per month, and I'll get 2 applications of ammonium sulfate and potassium nitrate. The rates I'm going to do isn't going to be crazy or anything. I'm looking at maybe about a ½ pound per 1,000 of the ammonium sulfate, which would give me just about 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen per application. So per month would be maybe a 1/4 pound, a hair less. Yes, I need some iron. My grass is, the cameras might be playing tricks. There is some grass types that's throughout my yard, and it was, a mutt mix, contractor mix that they throw out on the yard. And I think there might be a little bit of Kentucky 31 or K131. So some of it isn't very green. The backyard, don't get me wrong, that's really dark. That's all the GCI turf, tall fescue. That looks amazing for what spots have came in, minus those high traffic areas that the kids have just demolished. Got to see about lowering your pH as well. Jason, I don't know if you've seen one of my other videos, citric acid and the sulfur. That is the way to go. That is for those of you who don't know, Green Doc, it's Ray. He's been on Matt Martin's live streams. Dude is a mad scientist, a genius. And some of the stuff that I've tried on my yard that has worked wonders, and that I kind of reiterate, has come from him. So the citric acid and sulfur, that was all Ray. And what I do with that, the recommendation that I did with that was 4 pounds per 1,000 of sulfur. And hopefully you can find it cheaper. I got some of the high yield from the nursery that I mentioned earlier. That was really expensive. So if you can find it cheaper, awesome. And then get a hold of some citric acid. You can get that on Amazon, anywhere. You can get big 20-pound buckets of it, and do 1 pound per 1,000 of that once per month. The sulfur is just kind of like a one-time deal, because it takes so long to work into the soil. that citric acid, do it monthly. He had recommended using a hose end sprayer because you can get a ton of water in there with it. You don't want to spray this out there and let it sit on the yard because it will torch your yard if you're not careful. So fair warning on that. The past couple times I used it, I did use a backpack sprayer, and then I went through with a hose afterwards and watered in really good. It seems to be a little bit quicker. So it's something to, yes, Ray knows all. I love Ray. He's awesome. Always willing to talk to anyone to help him out, and he can just rattle stuff off the top of his head like that. It's mind-boggling the stuff that he knows. So yeah, back to the potassium nitrate and ammonium sulfate. That was Ray as well. So that's what I'm going to be trying on the yard this year. And he said hopefully that'll help with the dollar spot problems that I had last year as well. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, worst that'll happen is I torch my yard again. So yeah. So I'm kind of curious what pH is around 8. Yeah, mine was my backyard when I brought in that garbage soil was about 7.5 to 8. So I'm sitting at about a 6.5 now. So what you sipping on? So I was thinking about getting a beer, but it's been a long day, so I've actually got coffee. I do have some beer behind me in this little mini fridge, so that might come out if depends on how late this live stream goes. That might come out. So I'm kind of curious what some of you guys are going to be doing. Are you changing anything up in your programs this year? Are you staying with the same thing? Let's go to the chats. Hopefully my chat didn't freeze up or everyone left me. Only 8 watching. Carbon X and the stem pack. There you go. So is that something you used the previous year, or is it something new? Liquid on one side and granular on the other. There you go. Do a comparison to see how things turn out. Use it last year. Okay, okay. And I knew your lawn was on point, so it definitely works very well for you. I did not get the stem pack last year. The only things I have as far as the GCF products is I have a dethatch. I probably should have used both applications. I split it with a neighbor, so I probably need another application of it. It didn't do a whole lot for me. But I also have a compaction cure that I bought again for the backyard to see if I can work on loosening up that soil some more. It seemed to do pretty good. And then since I had a lot of the RGS left over at the end of the year last year, I went ahead and mixed up maybe like 3 or 4 ounces per 1,000 and sprayed on the yard when I overseeded and aerated and all that. Just throw a little something extra down. I got plenty of it. Why not? We've got Bush League, granular prodiamine. Top dress with X soil in the spring, BioPro stimulants. Yeah. So my prodiamine, the previous year, so 2 years ago, I used the Anderson's prodiamine, and that I think I probably overpaid on it because of the name, but the actual Anderson's I don't think did as good for me. But last year I got the 65 WDG. That seemed to do pretty good. I did mess up and not put down the second application. I did a split app and end up not doing the other side of the split app. But I ended up with a bunch of Dallas grass I started fighting, and so we'll see how things go out this year. I'm going to make sure that I actually do both split apps this time instead of screwing up and only doing half of it. DIY Dad, what's going on, brother? So the X soil looks pretty interesting. I saw it kind of breaking down in some water, and so maybe that was Matt. He showed a picture of it. It looked like he had just straight up mud on his fingers after that broke down. So it looks like some really cool stuff. I think he recommended like 10 to 20 pounds per thousand. So I'm thinking if I have 15,000 square foot and I'm trying to do that, that's going to be a lot. So it might break my bank on it, but maybe if I try to do something on the backyard to kind of play around with, maybe it also helps some of that other soil that's in there, kind of top dress it a little bit. That might be something for me to look into. We're up to 12. Ooh, hot dang. Show you my network rack. All right. So let me try to move this over a little bit. Hopefully I can do this without knocking the camera over. There we go. So I guess we can start at the top here. It's a little messy because I was actually doing a little bit of work on it the other day. There we go. So this is an old Dell server rack that we actually pulled out of our old data center. Before we even decommed that, we moved to a new data center at the beginning of early 2019. We had to move a whole data center in less than 6 months. Anyone who's moved a data center before knows that's typically about a 2-year project. But when you have some upper management that, trying to think a PC way to say this, don't know what they're doing, push stuff through when they don't exactly know what they're doing, and you get stuck working 80 hours a week to try to get stuff moved over. It got moved pretty quick, and not everything was done cleanly, but needless to say, we did it. Boston Carbonate, yeah. So top of the rack, so I've got my patch panel. I've got a Ubiquity switch up there. Don't know a whole lot about Ubiquity. Some of the guys in the Lawnform Discord were talking about the Ubiquity equipment, how great it was. It's like, okay, I'll buy it. So I got that and a access point, which is almost above me here. It did okay. I had a few issues with wireless, as far as stuff getting stuck on the network, not really sync connected. It would drop off and lose connection. Predominantly with my Ring little hub controller, constantly was dropping. Then I found out I actually had a issue with my firewall and the DHCP scope. Stuff wasn't getting cleared out. So it was basically getting caught on MAC addresses and trying to hit the IP address. It was a mess. So I cleared it out, and it seems to be better now. So now I can't really complain about Ubiquity because it ended up being a firewall issue, which pains me to say because I'm actually a firewall guy. But so further down the rack, what we got? I've actually got an 891 Cisco that actually just gives me my VPN access back to the office. I've got an access point hanging off of it, which is down here. Kind of ugly setup right now because we were testing. Has some issues with other ASA 5505s. Underneath that is my Palo. It's a PA 220. And then down here I've got a Dell R610, and that is running file shares on the network, Active Directory, computer backups. It's a Server 2012 home. So that's pretty good. I've got maybe about 6 tera of space on it. Then the further down the rack, this is just really old stuff that I don't even turn on anymore. There's an old Catalyst 2924 MXL. is running a CatOS 12, so you can't even do range commands on it. And then some old 2950s, some 3550s, an 1841 router, an ATS, so I've got full redundancy with power, and just a power strip. And then further down, I've got a trip light UPS. So I've got my battery backup, full redundancy, so whole neighborhood can be dark, and I can still be on the internet. So it's kind of nice. Yeah, so the Unify settings, it ended up not being that. It was just more in the DHCP. There was a DHCP scope on the firewall, and when I originally set it up, apparently I didn't set a lease expiration on it, so they were unlimited. So it ultimately ended up filling up that DHCP scope, and so I found that maybe about 6 months ago, cleared that out, and ultimately though it didn't clear out all of the old Macs that were stuck in the DHCP scope. So it still ended up causing some issues. I finally went through there and I actually just cleared the leases on everything, and it seems like I've been good since then. So it was kind of an odd thing that I found, but needless to say, I finally found it, and everything seems to be working pretty good now. The Ring hub upstairs, it doesn't really drop off the network as much, so it's a little bit better. I'm happy with it now. Thank you, DIY Dad. Back to foreign languages. Yeah, I know. At least I'm not speaking in binary. So I guess that's kind of the funny thing is a lot of us long guys that are in DIY, we end up being IT nerds as well. I think Grass said it best. We like to work with our hands. So, moving from IT and into lawn care, where you're kind of digging around, always doing stuff and figuring out how stuff works, and kind of messing with numbers, nitrogen or whatever. You're always using your brain, working with your hands. So it kind of goes hand in hand. So that's where I guess a lot of us are in IT. It just kind of works well together. Yeah, this snatch. All right, I guess I'll allow it. I'm in IT as well, just not that geeky. Yeah, well, so Jason, how long have you been in IT? I originally started out as a desktop guy back in 2006, right before I got married, and about 2012 is when I actually moved over into the network side of things. So I've been at it for almost 15 years. Yep, Lawn is the Escape. Yep. Theater a couple years back. 8 years senior desktop support. Nice. So yeah, sometimes the network side of it gets a little frustrating because ultimately everything's the network's fault. So we get very good at being able to having to defend the network. Ultimately, some users call in, the whole network's running slow. Everyone's complaining that it's slow, and you call them, it's 2 computers that have a whole site, and it's like Outlook is locked up or something. Reboot your computer, and then they're good. But it's a network issue. Sorry, 2006 desktop consultant, data center management, now going to Linux. Linux, man, that's the way to go. There is so much stuff, even if you're not just being a server guy, specifically, so much stuff runs on Linux. I mean, look at a lot of your network equipment, it's all kind of Linux based. Some of my servers, I have Cisco Prime and ACS still. We haven't moved to ICE yet, but all those are on Linux platforms. And ultimately, when you have to do some other troubleshooting to get into some of the nitty gritty of the server, you got to know some Linux commands. So it's always handy to know. Yep, network's always saying that. The big thing now, though, for anyone else who is changing in IT or looking at something else, everything is going software based. Even if you're a network guy, you've got to know the more software defined. It's going Python scripting and curl statements and all this different stuff that you have to kind of know now. Our new data center is all Cisco ACI. And with all that, you can script a lot of that stuff out. So it's all Python statements. And there's not much CLI commands anymore. It used to be something like these old switches back here. You can go bang away at a bunch of command lines and be able to do what you want. Now it's all, graphical web pages where you have to click through a bunch of crap to figure out, what you need to do. And sometimes, you automate some scripts and do all that. The whole reason I went into networking is because I didn't like programming. I worked on multiple websites back in 2006 when I was doing the consulting, doing the desktop stuff. It's kind of a jack of all trades. I did desktop, server. I was a cable monkey, messed around with websites. Bootsy Collins, if any of y'all know who Bootsy is, I actually worked on his site for a while. Didn't program the whole thing, but there was some stuff I did on there. So I started doing some of that programming. It's like, man, this ain't for me. So I went to the networking side of it, and then here it is, almost 10 years later, going to have to learn some scripting anyway. Like Discord Live, yeah, I guess it's kind of turning into that. I was really just wanting to show the show Stolen Feral and the herbs, and I guess the grow tent, and kind of talk about the fertilizer plants, and then from there, kind of whatever goes, or till my coffee runs out, or I have to crack open that beer behind me. I guess where I don't like them sending me tons of messages as soon as I kick the ticket over. Yeah, I had some issues with one of our desktop guys. So long story short, we have a VPN tunnel with GE, and so we have a health center on one of their campuses, and so we have our computers there. They ultimately will go through a VPN tunnel back to them to get to their websites. About 3 weeks ago, it stopped working. Couldn't get to some of these websites, so they started looking at the VPN tunnel, and we did some troubleshooting yesterday. VPN's fine. Found out that the computers there were replaced with Windows 10 computers about 2 weeks ago. There's some major updates that were pushed to the computers about 3 weeks ago because of the Microsoft major vulnerabilities. And after that, stuff stopped working. Found out that there was a host file that's supposed to be on these computers that were not put back on. So ultimately, they couldn't get routed through the VPN tunnel to go back to the websites as needed. So we had to kind of go back and forth with them about that. Turf Therapy, what's going on, brother? Anybody throwing down this weekend? I wish, but it's actually supposed to be about 51 degrees here Saturday or Sunday, but it's going to rain. So every time that it gets warm here, it rains. So I couldn't even throw down if I wanted to. Try to get a charity mow in or something. Can't do it. I still got some leaves on the back side of my house that I would like to mow up. Can't do it. So it's kind of, I can only channel my lawn mowing through you warm season guys who are out there already spraying and mowing and doing all the fun stuff while we're up here 3 feet underwater. And actually, I'm pretty close to the Ohio River. There's been quite a few streets around me that have closed. Luckily, I'm far enough away that I don't have to worry about any damage to my property. But I'm about 5 minutes away from the Ohio River. Snowing, man. We actually didn't get any snow. I think the last time we got snow maybe like a weekend ago. It was just a dusting. But it's Ohio, so there was a dusting. So everybody buy the milk, buy the beer, buy the bread. Because we're going to get snowed in for a quarter inch of snow. OHIO. Yeah, Windows 10 migrations. Luckily, I am not a part of that. I've had my fair share of computer refreshes, and it's not always a fun time, especially when you have garbage images that don't work right. Then it's just a constant fight. So RVA, I remember, I believe that was that last year that you had major issues with. I think you had some dollar spot. So what was your remediation on that? Was it all just some Propicon, multiple applications, and which specific one did you use? Did you use granular, or did you spray it down? Man, I've been live for 35 minutes, and there's 15 people here that are still tolerating listening to me. Thank you. Sharkman has some dollar spot too. Man, that's that dollar spot one. Started granular, heritage G, went all liquid, Propanus Oxy. My eyes are magical. Thank you, turf therapy. Have a good flight, Bush. Racking up the view time. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. There hasn't been a whole lot of stuff going on the channel, so yeah, why not? Get to talk around with some of my other lawn peeps. Yeah, I could do it in the Discord, but it's kind of fun to change it up every once in a while, right? Just going to do a Zoom chat like Matt did. I don't know if I have a Zoom account. I might. Actually, I had to have. I got on his chat, so I guess I have one. I have no idea what it is now. I might have it saved. But yeah, that was kind of fun. Gotta get you my sticker. Wait, I got your sticker. It's right there. It's up there next to the lawnmower. Actually, there's a. So I'll go over this real quick because I actually ran out of room on my sticker board, so I had to go through and buy a second one. So that's the ones I've been working on currently. Missouri, DIY Dad, Another One Guy, Junior's Gardens Landscape, Fert Wife, Kenny Cooper, Lawn Squad, The Lawnmower, Turf Tamer. Oh, wait. Do I not have Turf Therapy? I thought I did. I thought I just saw it on here. Man. Sorry. I'm losing my mind, man. So I do not have yours. So there's the other ones I had. As you see, I pretty well filled it up. And so it looks pretty good. I think there's supposed to be another one for the grass goons that is going to go up here over a certain something. And yeah, I ran out of room. Originally when I bought that one, I did not expect to fill that up. So I ended up having to get another one. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll get this up in my garage or something, and maybe I'll hang these up next to somewhere in my garage. Maybe I can kind of start putting these next to each other and kind of build it up. Might be kind of cool. Yep, no therapy. That orange one looks nice. Yep. So, and something I think what I'm going to do is, I'm sure you notice I've only got one of your stickers on here, Kenny. I've actually got the other two in an envelope back here. So just because of, real estate issues on here, if some of y'all don't mind, when you send me multiple, I might hang on to the other ones, and then maybe what I might do is when I have like I finally hit 500 subscribers or 1,000 or something, I don't know yet. Maybe I'll do some sort of like a sticker pack giveaway, and maybe I'll use that as a something to give away if y'all are cool with that. Thought I was losing. I'll have yours in the mail next week. Fresh batch. Cool. Thank you, Turf Therapy. So yeah, I thought it'd be kind of a cool idea. Mine's bigger sticker, whatever your biggest tool is. People I sent multiple stickers. Kind of what I was hoping for people I sent multiple stickers to. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, originally when I did the first one, so when I originally got them, like I said, I wasn't expecting to get a ton of stickers, but it just kind of started flowing in like that. So like, I mean, I've got multiple Connors and Real Low Dad. He sent me a couple of them. He sent me 3 of them. Don's Lawn sent me a couple of them. So, I put them all on there, but then I started realizing that I was filling up all the space. So then I kind of started pulling it back to just one sticker of each one on there, and then I just kind of do the other ones. LCA sticker looks nice. Sea of Green. How's that grow box? It is doing pretty good. So I will say that this thing is pretty sturdy, pretty big. As you can tell. I didn't really have anywhere to go with it, so I had to shuffle some stuff around to kind of get it in here. But once I got it in place, it does pretty good. So it's kind of cool. I got the little peek window, so I was able to check on Stolen Feral to see how he was doing. I don't know if you saw him or not, Turf Therapy. So I think he might have come in after. I think he bit the farm. It's not looking good. So I think we're going to call it on him, right? There's tiny bit of green right there. The rest of it is pretty brown, crispy, kind of here. So you know what? Let's pull it out. Let's see what roots did. All right, they rooted in there, held on to it, but it didn't like it. So I guess it is what it is, It was a fun experiment. Hide in the grow tent away from the family and drink beer. Why have I never thought of that? I'll be back. I probably could hide in here pretty well. Yeah. Okay. Too bright. I think I just got a suntan. That would have been really bad if I just tried to get out and fell on my face. All right. Sorry. Wife was texting me, making sure that I wasn't getting yelled at about something. Logan Burnett, thank you for subscribing. I just saw the email come through. Gotta drink a margarita in there, obviously, so you're sitting at the beach. Maybe I can put like a little layer of sand in there. It's big enough I could probably get a lawn chair in there too. Find your wife hide in there and you just hang out together. That's not a bad idea either, because I don't know how many you have kids, but mine's 10 and 5, or going to be 5. Man, they fight like cats and dogs, and sometimes we just want to hide. It's crazy how much they fight. I never would have thought in my life when I was going to have a second kid that they were going to fight like cats and dogs all the time. Danger Lawn, what's going on, man? Neglected Bob and Mary, and they're dead as well. It happens. Air duct for my sticker board. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Get some air duct up there and then hang them off of them. That's kind of cool. Indoor garden this year might be. Yeah, this thing is. It was like, how much was this thing? Let me pull it up real quick. It was like $80, I think, for the grow tent. The light I already had because I was growing my elephant ears in there ahead of time, and then when I got that what was I think banana plant, I had that growing ahead of time because I got it in the winter. And so kind of an odd story too about that banana plant while I'm trying to pull this up is when I bought it, I actually bought it on Amazon. I've never bought a live plant on Amazon before. Thought it'd be kind of weird, how it would be shipped or whatnot. But so the reason I bought this particular one was because it said it was Ohio grown, so it was supposed to be a lot more hardy and be able to tolerate colder weathers to like -20 as long as you have some mulch around the base of it. But when I got it, it shipped from California. So that was kind of odd. Ohio grown, shipped from California to Ohio. So I don't know if they started out and then sent to a warehouse in California. I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. So this grow tent, this KD Garden grow tent behind me it was $64.99. And then there was some sort of coupon I had on there. I got like an extra $3 off or something. So definitely, a decent deal, especially for the size of it. I want to do an ice cream banana plant. Nice. This one I think is a what was this? A Jazzboo banana plant, I believe was the name of it. And it was just, I didn't particularly care for the shipping of it. When I got it, I mean, it came in, it was like wrapped in a bunch of bubble wrap and there was a little bit of plastic, but it was like inside in a USPS box. And so when it kind of came out of the box, it was kind of hanging over a little bit. But it perked up. So, and ultimately you can see there, it's kind of bounced back and has done pretty good. It was only maybe about 6 inches tall when I got it with maybe 2 leaves on it. It's growing into what it is now. So it's done fairly well. Ooh. So that so I did it since it's Thirsty Thursday. My coffee is gone. I've had this one for a while, just because this is some pretty strong stuff. War on Christmas, if you want it. This stuff is what was this? 11% alcohol. White milk stout with spices. It's very very spicy as far as all the stuff in there. Ooh. I swatted for the grow tent because my neighbors called authorities. Oh God. Oh man. Yeah, I was kind of afraid of that too. Luckily, when I received it, there wasn't, a lot of stuff hinting that I had a grow tent. But my neighbors here are pretty cool too, so they would have kind of handed and be like, "Hey, what you growing?" But anyway, one thing I was worried about getting swatted on. So I was talking earlier about some potassium nitrate that I got. It was I don't know if anyone else has bought from them. It is mbferts.com. They're based out of Michigan, I believe. They're just kind of like an online hydroponic shop. So they sold all kinds of stuff, grow tents and different grow lights and whatever. But they had some potassium nitrate, and it said it was a Yara brand, which I was told was pretty good, and that's kind of one of the brands to get. So I ordered it, and I figured I was going to get a manufacturer's bag, 20-pound bag of this potassium nitrate. So 3 or 4 days goes by, and I get my box. It's USPS shipped, and so I open it up. There's 2 big Ziploc bags of white powder, and pull it out. It's just handwritten on the bags, potassium nitrate, 10 pounds. I started looking around. It's like, FBI going to come knocking on my door anytime soon, because this is kind of sketchy. But it's been about a week. No FBI, no DHS. I think I'm in the clear now. So And Green Doc did say, he's like, I could test it. You take, I think he said 1 part sugar with 3 parts potassium nitrate, light it. And if you get a really big flame, it's legit potassium nitrate and not anything else. Yeah, I'm on the list. I'm probably on a no-fly list now. That would kind of stink. Because I honestly, when I go on vacation anywhere, last time we went to Florida, I refused to drive. My wife and I, when we were dating, carry the one, I don't know, almost 20 years ago now, we drove to Fort Lauderdale from Cincinnati. It's like 18, 19 hours. We followed some of her friends that she worked with and went to high school with. We drove all the way down there. And when we came back, I said, never again. If we ever go to Florida, we're going to fly. And I've held up my word. Every time this is the 3rd or 4th time we've gone to Florida now, and every time we fly, because I can't handle being in a car that long. Have you tried Brew Dog? I have not. 32, 29, 24. Thank you. So, LI Lawns, I guess or formerly known as Sharp Man. You just need to have like a logo like Prince had. It's just the YouTuber formerly known as Striper Man. Whew. Sounds like dinner on the milk stout. Yeah. So, and originally I got this stuff. I figured a milk stout, you know, I'm thinking like a dark beer. But nah, looks more like a lager. It's a lot lighter. And it's got tons of spices in it. So it's almost difficult to drink all of it in one sitting. Like I almost have to like set off to the side for a while. So I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. You all got anything else you want to talk about? Fortunately, I am still a good month and a half out from being able to do anything in the lawn. Even trying to throw down some prodiamine or anything. My temps are still way down there. I keep bouncing between 30 and 50 degrees. What I have for dinner? You're going to laugh at this. Pancakes. Yep. The wife and my youngest daughter, they went to the dance studio down the street. My daughters, they did dance and gymnastics type stuff for about a year, and they kind of got out of it, wanted to do something else, and now they're kind of wanting to get back into it, or at least my youngest one is. So they went there before I got home from work, and so she's like, I'm going to do pancakes for dinner, get it ready, and we'll be home in a little bit. And so that's where they are currently. Is they went back up there because my youngest one wanted to look into doing cheer. So I guess we'll see how that goes. My oldest one, though, she is, I think, still upstairs for what I can hear and playing Roblox. So I think she's been chomping at the bit to get me on the on Roblox with her to play with her for a little bit. I just kind of play on my phone a little bit. I play with her for a little bit, and then I really don't know what to do on there. I don't see the point of the game. Just kind of run around, follow her around, and then I just like, okay, I got to do stuff, and kind of sign off from there. Yeah, both of my kids actually kind of play the Roblox. My youngest one, she doesn't know as much as I mean, she's going to be turning 5. She just kind of gets on there with my oldest daughter and just kind of follows her around on there. So she don't really know a whole lot what she's doing. But my 10-year-old, I don't know which exact game she's on there playing, but I guess you can get in there and trade animals and get like a flying animal so you can travel and do all this stuff. I don't know. I can't complain because even though it's a waste of time. I played hours upon hours upon hours of World of Warcraft. So, and at least Roblox is free. I've probably sunk so many thousands of dollars into Warcraft game cards and subscriptions to be able to play on that. Ugh, Meep City. I think that's it. That's what she talks about. Yep. Let's all get the kids and us to play Roblox. Yeah, sure. A 6-year-old plays a zombie shooting game. It was like level 200. I was like, crap. I think I remember something about a zombie one. You become a zombie and you chase people down or something. I kind of remember her talking about that one. Clash of Clans. I think I might have played that for a hot minute on my phone. That might have been maybe about a year ago. I kind of played around on it. A lot of the smaller games I don't play a whole lot of. My main games are on PC. My main jam, and I've been playing it for a few years just because it's such an awesome game, is Doom 2016. I love playing Doom. I've beat the game probably 3-4 times now, and I just kind of keep bumping up that extra difficulty. So I think I'm playing on Ultra Nightmare now. Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, whatever the second to the very hardest one is, and that one it's pretty difficult. Grew up on Doom. I did too. I've got the full catalog of Doom and Wolfenstein on my computer. So I went through kind of playing some of the older levels, and so that was some of the first games that I had really played on the computer. Was actually Castle Wolfenstein. My one of my uncles, he was a big computer guy. I think at the time he was doing something. He was like a kind of bigger engineer guy for IBM. So he had a pretty sweet computer, and we played Wolfenstein on his computer. So that was pretty fun. Yeah, I will waste hours upon hours playing video games as well. I've got a Nintendo Switch, the second reiteration of it, that had longer battery life or whatever. I got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I think last weekend I was up till 2 in the morning. I haven't done that in years, probably since I played Warcraft. And I looked at it, I was like, oh man, I got to get up for work Monday morning. This is going to be bad. And it was. I was so tired. Waiting on Fortnite. I tried playing Fortnite. I could not grasp the concept. Yeah, I get it's like a PUBG knockoff, but a little bit different, where you have the area that it grows in or whatever. But Fortnite, I couldn't handle the whole thing, building up barracks and whatever, all the crap they were doing, and building stuff up and jumping off of it and throwing stuff in front of them. I couldn't handle all that. I was getting my butt kicked by a 7-year-old, and he was talking smack to me, and no, done. Hang out, but I enjoy it now. Yeah. Mute it, yeah. Yeah, I kind of did the same thing with PUBG. It's like you get so many kids in there, they start talking smack. It's like, man. I used to love playing Xbox too. I still got an Xbox 360 over there that I still get charged for my Xbox Live account, and I probably haven't fired up that Xbox in 6 months. And the last time I did it was just to get it to do updates. It's an expensive update. Brandon Davis, what's going on? You getting packed up yet for that long move over to Texas? Leave on the 27th. You got another week still. Yeah. Brandon Davis with the ooh. I think I just pulled something doing that. Hitting Nolan's. Got to hit up Nolan's. So one place I have never been was New Orleans. Heard it's pretty fun. Can be a little crazy. Going to Austin. Okay. Who else was around Austin that's in the grass goons? Wasn't there was it Jerry? Isn't Jerry near Austin? Franklin's Barbecue, yes. I've heard nothing but good about Franklin's. Near your house. Okay, I thought Jerry might have been near you or where you're going to be. Houston. Okay. Oh, near Houston. Okay. Oh, they were saying Jerry was near your house. So he's Houston. And I suck at geography as far as Texas, so I don't know if Houston and Austin are close to each other, or they look close on a map, but that's probably like an 8-hour drive. Not at all. 3 hours. Well, that's not too bad. There's a so I was that kind of reminds me too. So it's about 3 hours away. I know in the Grass Goons there are maybe a handful of guys that are near the Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus area. I think maybe we should have some sort of Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Midwest meetup. That might be kind of cool. I know there's been a few of them, you know, the guys out in Utah, they've had their meetup, and they might have had a couple of them. There's been a couple of things that Connor did where he was at. So that might be kind of fun. Yeah, do it. Yeah. And with that, I might be able to meet up with some of our guys in Columbus that are actually some pro guys. If you're in the Lawn Forum Discord, you've got the OSU turf guy that has implemented a lot of Bermuda turf fields in the Columbus area. He doesn't actually work with, you know, the Ohio State, but he works in the surrounding areas with a lot of the sports fields in that area. OSU Turfman, yes, sir. So, and that was kind of funny too, because until he had mentioned Bermuda grass being in Ohio, I never would have thought that was even a thing. But when I actually started paying attention, so my daughter's school is literally a rock throw away. So I've got my house and the street, my neighbor's house, and then their backyard butts up against the schoolyard. That schoolyard is all Bermuda. So I have Bermuda grass 50 yards from me. So I kind of thought about this. Maybe this coming spring or summer, if I maybe talk to the maintenance guys there, if I mark out a little area and start playing around with some Bermuda, maybe they'll be cool with that. Maybe they'll be like, no, what the hell are you doing? You know, stay off our grass. But I don't think, looking at it, they don't particularly care about it. I mean, they mow that Bermuda at 3 inches or so with just a big old rotary commercial mower. So, you know, they don't really care about the Bermuda grass. It needs to be down low and fertilized, and they don't do any of that. And it'd be far enough away from the school. It's probably a good 100 yards away from the school. Not many kids get out in that back portion of the field. So maybe they'll let me have some of that. And yeah, they probably will call me a weirdo, but if I just tell them, you know, I'm a lawn guy and I want to play around with some Bermuda grass, okay, they'll probably still call me a weirdo. But as long as they say okay, I don't care. But it'll be the greenest spot in the field, I'll tell you that. That might also allow me to, you know, I'll maybe get a cheap real mower. If I can find like a used one or something for 20, 30 bucks at a yard sale, just to push, you know, not necessarily even a Scott's, old busted up old real mower, something that still cuts decent. Use that, mow it low, spray it with some ammonium sulfate, kind of see what it does, you know, play around. Some golf courses, yeah, I would imagine it probably is. I'm almost curious too, like how much bent grass is on the golf courses around here. I think the ones by me are mostly perennial rye. I think the last time I've been on the golf course, which has been a few years. I've still got some golf clubs that I've never even taken the plastic off of. I played that little bit of golf And the last time I did swing clubs was just at a driving range by my house. So just a weed. Yeah, just a weed. I mean, my yard can handle Fusillade and Triclopyr and stuff like that. And Bermuda can't. Just saying. Alpha grass. Psst. Ask them to when it converts to your grow tent, make it even more awkward. That'd almost be like some Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff where I've got like, you know, plugs of their sod hanging out in my grow tent. Just going to open up, they're just going to see plugs everywhere. So has anyone else got any big plans or anything this coming couple weeks with the lawn or anything else? Vacations? See ya, DIY Dad. Just coming here like you did the side plot. Yeah. Yeah, I'm almost thinking, you know, they're just going to go through with a huge old commercial mower. They don't really care. So I could probably just mark it out and spray it. And even then, I might not even necessarily have to mark it. You know, just kind of spray my area, kind of get a baseline marked out and mow it. And then, you know, they're just going to go over with their commercial mower. But I'd be real mowing and have it so short that when they go over with a commercial mower at 3 inches, they're not even going to do anything to that portion of the turf. I don't know. Marking it like your dog, yeah. So any other guys playing with any other experiments or anything else coming up too? I saw, was it IMO Low? He was going to do half granular and half liquid fertilizer. Is anyone else playing around with anything else different? Wife just got home. I should probably talk to her. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for footsteps to come in so I know whether or not my wife's here. Because then she's going to be like, what are you doing down there? You're talking to all the grass people instead of me. And she's going to come back and watch this video. She does not sound like that. She'll smack me for saying that. Yeah. Yeah, looks like we're down about 4 people. I guess things are kind of winding down, so I guess we'll kind of call it for the night. I really don't have anything else to talk about. I really just kind of want to talk about the grow tent a little bit more, the results of the herbs. There's still the other 2 upstairs, what was that, oregano and chives. Those things still haven't germinated yet. They're almost a 30-day germination rate. I still haven't seen anything, so I don't have high hopes for that. I was kind of wanting to show you stolen feral, so I guess I'm going to give them a proper burial. And I tried with it, but it was kind of a fun little experiment to see if I can grow some St. Augustine up here. There is a group of people in Columbus that have played around with some St. Augustine. They had just big old sod pieces of St. Augustine. I don't know what variety, palmetto or whatever, but she actually, I follow her on Twitter. What was her name? I can tell you real quick. And it was kind of cool because when I brought the St. Augustine home, I thought I was going to be the only one that really had St. Augustine up here, but she actually had a bunch of St. Augustine, and they were bringing it back down to Florida. Casey Reed is at CASS Reed 6. I believe OSU Turf Man knows her. It's kind of how I found her on Twitter. But so she had big things of sod, and they had it in Columbus, was growing it in a big grow tent or greenhouse or whatever, and they believe drove it back down to Florida. So that's kind of an interesting thing. It sounds like every white feather. Yeah, pretty much. So, all right, guys. I guess I'm gonna call this for the night. I'll try to get a video together. Like I said, I'll try to do some sort of time lapse with the all the grass types coming up with the different fertilizers on there. So kind of keep an eye out for that. I'll try to get that up here soon. As soon as I get everything back up and that time lapse is done, then I'll kind of throw it all together and then get that up. So we'll see kind of what the different fertilizers and grass types will do as far as their germination times, and then how the roots and everything do with the different fertilizers. So I will catch you all later. And for those of you who are in the Discords, I'll see you all in the Discords.